there are a lot of cringy fighters in the UFC. There are a lot of guys that, just piss you off. You hate hearing them talk. You're like, this guy's fucking back. He's talking again. There's a lot of those guys. Um, I'm just gonna make it short and simple. I'm going over the top 10 cringiest fighters in the UFC. Let's start this off really quick. Oh yeah. Oh, well you saw. Well you saw three of them. Well, first off, Adesanya. I will admit I was a fan of him at first, but through the years, with his he has this cringe one-liners where he's gonna put you on skates and leave you frozen like Elsa. Botched. He's just like it's just not funny. It's just not funny. He's not funny. His trash talk is like annoying and cringy. Fucking like he's fucking like look at this guy fucking jerking off the cartoons. It's called hentai. All right, buddy. We don't need to know that. And he tops it all off with like boring performances. Like with Jared Cannonier, he like promises like exciting, flashy performance, and then like stood in front of him leg kicking and jabbing for 5 rounds. Like, are you fucking kidding me? How are you gonna say that and then give that performance after Volkanovski versus Holloway 3? Shit was wild to me. And really, ever since the dog stuff came out, it makes it so much harder. It's so much harder to be a fan of him ever since like the dog stuff came out. Like, that's so fucking weird. And in terms of like personality and interest, I share a lot of interest with him, and it kind of embarrassed me at this point. But like with all the stuff he's done and all like the stuff like with his 9/11 one-liner against Yoel Romero, and his Elsa one-liner, and his like dog stuff, it's just so hard to be a fan of him and to like him with all the shit he's done. It's just so weird. He's so weird. We have Sean O'Malley next. Oh, this is in no particular order, by the way, but I'm just kind of put through them in a compilation. Sean O'Malley, unlike Izzy, he has pretty fucking entertaining fights. I'll admit, he has pretty entertaining fights. His trash talk is a little bit cringy. His TikTok is also cringy, but it's kind of funny. It's a funny type of cringy. Like when he was making out with the fucking dummy, and then he was like, oh, I wasn't doing anything. I was like, that's fucking stupid, but okay. I thought it was funny. It was like a little like, I feel like it's more of like a self-aware type of cringe. His trash talk in press conferences, it's always kind of like uncomfortable and cringy, because he seems more like nervous and scared. Can't really speak with like his chest. Like Marab when he's out there screaming, "Viva Mexico!" I'm like, yeah, oh, you fucking get him, Marab. But if Sean O'Malley did that, it'd probably sound a little bit sadder, kind of like scared or nasally. I like the Ilya Taporia call out, but it's like the way, like he's like, give me a jet to Spain. He's like, I'm for Ilya Taporia. It kind of like, I don't know. If he if he gave that Michael Chandler energy and like put that oomph into it, like, give me a jet to Spain, cause I'm going for Ilya Taporia, I'd be like, whew, book it next. But like it's just like the kind of way he says it. It's like demeanor when he says it. I'm like, all right, I get it. Just fight Marab next. His trash talk against Strickland was like sad. He was getting like railed on, and then really quietly, like kind of like, at least I didn't fuck my dad, or like, at least my dad didn't fuck me. And then Strickland had to literally be like, what'd you say? And he's like, at least my dad didn't fuck me. And he was like, a rich cuck, baby, or something like that. He said like a rich bitch or like a rich cuck. Or I think he just said like a rich one. But like it was kind of like sad. It was like, you kind of lost that battle against Strickland. Like, Dricus du Plessis, who had never really trash talked before that, he did better against Strickland than OMalley did. And O'Malley's supposed to be like the flashy kind of like shit talker guy. But overall, he's not the most cringy. He's tolerable. He's definitely tolerable. But he deserves to be on the list for his cringe stuff. In terms of his look, I don't mind his look at all. Fucking the blue and pink cotton candy hair with the pink shorts. Honestly, I fuck with it. That's hard. That's tough. I like that. But like his like trash talking stuff, it's cringy. And you know, the next one you already know who it is. It's Balal fucking the Balal sausage party burrito Muhammad. Balal, I forgot his last name. You know, ever since the eye poke, it's kind of like when the cringe has started with him. Like he's been going after Leon ever since. Like, don't worry, I'll smash this guy, guys. I'll smash this guy. You know, he's saying he'll walk through Colby, Leon, Strickland, but his best win is against an injured Gilbert Burns. Now, granted, I'll give him this. Gilbert Burns was making like a month-long turnaround, so he was already pretty in shape. And Balal Muhammad, you know, kind of took it on 2 weeks' notice after Ramadan. No, I think he took it 2 weeks' notice, like, during Ramadan. No, it was a month after Ramadan. But still, I respect the confidence, but he's definitely overconfident. He said he had a better resume than Kamaru Usman. And yeah, in terms of Usman's title wins aren't the greatest, because all it is Burns, Masvidal, and Colby. But Balal hasn't beaten any former champs, if I'm correct. Let me fact check that. I might be wrong. Hold on, let me fact check that. Because if I'm correct, he hasn't beaten any former champions. So let's look really quick. Okay, so Taka, Millender, Lima, Maya, Thompson, Luque, Brady. No, hasn't been a single former champion. Yep, not a single one. It's just like, how do you shit on that when Usman's beaten Tyron Woodley? You know, he's beaten Dos Anjos. Usman has a win over Strickland. Funny enough. I can't really discredit him because he's on a 9-fight win streak, and you know, he did take the Burns fight on short notice as well. But his level of confidence. 1 second. Sorry, something happened midway through. But like I was saying, he's on a 9-fight win streak, and you know, did take the Burns fight on short notice. But his level of confidence for the opponents he's faced and how he's beat them, it's like definitely a bit cringy. You know, again, not the most cringy, but you know, it's a little bit like much, dude. Like, it's a little bit much. Henry Cejudo, don't even give me fucking. He's literally known as the king of cringe, but it's not like a funny cringe. It's like a secondhand embarrassment cringe. I mean, like, I'll say, he has one of the better fight IQs. Where does he show it on his YouTube? On his YouTube, he acts like he's a fucking professor. But like Sean O'Malley said, he's just saying the shit that people know is gonna happen. All right, now Sean O'Malley, he's gonna wear his cup in his mouth guard, and what he's gonna do is he's gonna jab and he's gonna circle out, and he's gonna throw 1-2s down the pipe, the occasional knee up the middle, and he's gonna try and punch and kick you. All right, now here's what you want to do: you want to try and grapple with him and get in close. No fucking shit. And after the Marab thing, he did this whole like YouTube video like, I'm not retiring. I can't go out like that. And you're right. You're only not retiring because you got embarrassed. And I'm starting to think he believe everyone when they say he doesn't got money because he got paid $150,000 for Marab, I think. In a number 1 contenders fight. That's fucked up. He got cheered against the Mexican crowd when facing Marab. That's really embarrassing because Henry's like Mexican by nationality. But I'm pretty sure he's like, yeah, no, I'm not really Mexican. No, I'm American because of the Olympics. Because he represented America in the Olympics. I mean, the guy can talk shit, but he always manages to ruin it somehow. And even against Marab, like at that point, it wasn't even funny. Like when he was in the face-off, he started saying "Davai, Davai." Marab isn't Russian; he's Georgian. It's not the same language. And then Marab had the actually good shit talk. He was like, "You want to talk? Let's talk in Spanish." And then he was just like, Davai. Like, come on. He's just so cringy. It's getting harder and harder to like him. Yeah, I don't know. Next up, we got Michael Chandler. I can't deny, he's a fun fucking fighter. But his callouts are not cringe. He has some of the best promos I've ever seen. Conor McGregor, you gotta come back and fight somebody in 3 years. It's the Conor McGregor stuff. It like gives me secondhand embarrassment watching him constantly post about the McGregor fight. Fucking, oh, don't worry, guys, it's gonna happen. Sure, buddy. He's a laughing stock now because he sat out for almost 2 years for this fight. I mean, the dude's been getting led on by McGregor. And McGregor, he's been hinting at Poirier and Nate Diaz. Imagine if he fights Poirier and Nate Diaz because he has 2 fights left on his contract. Imagine if he fights Poirier and Nate Diaz, and then he just says, "Hey, fuck you, Chandler," and he dips out and cucks him. All that time wasted for what then? For what? Man, it's just, I just think it's dumb and cringy watching him hype up the McGregor fight for 2 years. And then there's still no real confirmation it's happening. I mean, McGregor saying it's happening is not confirmation. Until Dana White says, all right, we got them. Okay, we're in the talks. We're just looking for a date. I'll be like, okay. I'll start maybe believing it when they announce a date for it. If they say, we're doing it as the main event in the Sphere, I'd be like, I'd be like, okay. Michael Chandler might get his red panty night. Even then, they might not even pay Chandler that much. But, I don't know. I think it's dumb that he's waited this long. He could have had 5 fights this year. He could have had like 20 performance bonuses. He would still probably be in the top 5, let's be fair. Because you know what he'd be doing? It would have been Michael Chandler fight Gamrot wins. All right, now fight do a rematch with Poirier, do a rematch with Gaethje, fight Arman Tsarukyan down that he's above you. And he'd lose all 3 of those, but then he'd keep going back and forth with beating contenders. Like, I like Chandler. Oh, fuck. That's my next one. I like Chandler, but it's just kind of sad watching him do this. Moving on to the next one, Juliana Pena. God, she's so fucking annoying. For the love of fucking Christ, Pena, shut the fuck up about Amanda Nunes. Like, in terms of trash talk, when every other female fighter does it, it's actually somewhat fun to listen to. Because the female fighters, they'll throw, like, the kind of, like, slight underhanded disses. And those are kind of funny, because I'll hear them, like, oh, okay. I'll be like, that's a little fucked up, but okay. But Pena's just always talking shit about Amanda Nunes. You got so lucky because Nunes just didn't train in the first fight. And when she trained in the second fight, you got your ass kicked for 5 rounds. And it wasn't even like you had some moments where like, oh, you had it in an armbar. And then she just decided, and then Nunes said, no, I don't want to be in it anymore. It just pulled her way out of it. And you know what she did after she got out of it? She beat your shit in on top. She kept saying her fucking. I think any finish is more dominant than any decision. Really? More dominant than 50-43? Is it really more dominant than a 50-43? What about a 50-42? Is it more dominant than that? She's just so cringy as fuck to watch. And her shit talk with Nunez is so cringy. When she got fucking Nunez mopped the floor with her. It's just, man, she's just so cringy. I fucking hate her. I think she's cringier than Izzy. Just fucking embarrassing. Like, secondhand embarrassment all around. Marab. You guys people are probably going to be mad at this one. I like him. Let's be fair, Marab is really cringy, but it's like a fun type of cringy. Marab's cringy is like a fun type of cringy. It's a different form of cringe. You know, OMalley, he's kind of got the, your shit talk is a little bit embarrassing cringe. At least got, not Elite. Adesanya's got the, you fucked your dog kind of cringe. Juliana Pena's got the, you got your ass beat by her kind of cringe. Marab is the kind of like, you're a funny guy kind of cringe. You're a funny kind of cringy. I respect him. I like him. But, I think like, his, like, TikTok with all the big booty bitches, like, yeah, those are funny because it's like the running joke. Marab got all the play in the world, but, like, you know, you can, like, take a break from, like, having them in there every once in a while. Which, I mean, he has. His stuff with Nina, it's a little bit cringe, but I don't mind since he's a funny guy. He makes it funny. I don't think he's anywhere near as cringe as the people on the rest of his list. Or it's not as bad as the people on the list. But he's definitely a cringy fighter. He's probably the most tolerable fighter on this list, if I'm being completely honest. I like him. A fun guy. He seems like he's a charismatic personality, dude. He can win the fans over just like that. You see that Mexico represent. Goddamn, I respect him. But what the fuck was that Ginyu Force Dragon Ball Z ass pose that he got with Alexandria Taporia, Ilya, and Guram? How the fuck did you get them to do that? Imagine if he had Roman Dolidze there. Oh, it'd be the most. It would genuinely be the Ginyu Force. But, like, god damn, dude. Fuck. I just can't, bro. I can't. Can't fucking do it, man. I can't fucking do it. That shit was so dumb, but that shit was funny. It was funny. That's the thing. That shit was cringy, but it was funny. Okay, next up. Ian Garry. Ian Garry's tied with Juliana Pena, I think. But I think he's, slowly starting to fall behind with his trash talk with Colby. But at one point, he was a liked and respected prospect. But his downfall was like, it was exponential downfall. His increase of hate was exponential. Because it started out like, it slowly got like steeper and steeper. Because he started going downhill with his Jeff Neal mugshot shirt. That was fucked up, dude. Jeff Neal is having to be a part-time bartender, not making enough money in the fight game alone. And you're over here, you're making enough money to live and be good. He knows he's got the sponsors, he's got the team, he's got the wife, the nutritionist. But he never has to spend his money. You know what he says? He says, "Honey, can I buy the new Spider-Man game? Did you eat all your fruits and vegetables? Yes. Come here. Oh, let's get the nutritionist. Did he eat all his fruits and vegetables? He did not. No, but I want to play the new Spider-Man game." That's Ian Garry. he tanked his liability when he went after Neil Magny. Neil Magny said, you know, I'm a I'm a father now, so I'm accustomed to giving a whooping. You know, I'm accustomed to teaching a kid a life lesson. Neil Magny just said, I discipline my kids. Oh no, he what a child abuser. Neil Magny's trying to raise good children, better children than me. I respect him for that. And then you go after him and you paint him as a child abuser. And the things you're painting as him as, it's funny because he then went on to go after Strickland and say, this is a cease and desist, what you're doing is defamation of character. No, what you said about Magny is defamation of character. Because that shit could cause him his custody in court. That shit was fucked up. He's so cringy. He's number one for most hated fighter. But this is just most cringy. You can be cringy and liked. He tanked even harder when he disrespected Luque's religion. Like he said, like Luque was like he did his he got rebaptized, made a post and he was like I've seen God, I've met him again, I thank the Lord, and it was a wholesome thing. It was like great. It was a whole good shit for you, Luque. We love you. He responds, yep, and he'll be standing in front of you, 6'3", tall, blonde, and powerful in that octagon on 296. I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? That's so fucked up. That's so disrespectful. You're disrespecting his religion. And then he pulled out of that. He pulled out of the fight when Colby started ripping him apart in the media. He got embarrassed for his cuckoldry behavior. And he keeps trying to trash talk other guys now. When he trash talked Dricus and Sean, they would both mop the floor with you. But it's just, his call-outs are cringe and dumb. But I'm starting to get more interested in him again with his stuff with Colby Covington. Because that's actually pretty interesting. Their back and forth are actually pretty fun. And I don't mind it. I like that. It's building up hype for a good, interesting fight that I'd like to see. This might be the fight. Because Colby and Ian Garry, right now, their level of hated, they're pretty close. So this could be the time when Ian Garry can turn the tide and shift all the hate onto Colby. Speaking of which, Colby Covington. He kept talking shit about the division despite having no current top 15 wins and not fighting for 2 years. This one I'm going to keep short. People already know this because people keep up with Colby a lot more. And, I took a long time on Ian Garry, but I'm just going to keep this quick. He tanked his liability when he brought up the 7th layer hair. We know what we're talking about. He did absolutely nothing in his fight with Leon, losing 4-1, and then acted like he had any argument for winning the fight, said, I don't have a scratch on me, and then proceeded to limp out of the arena, and apparently had a broken foot, but so much for not having a scratch on him. He went from... Dude, it's so sad, because he went from having all the women with him in his posts, like, greetings, nerds and virgins, top your pick of the week from mybookie.com. And now he's just standing there by himself. That's just kind of sad. But, again, he's starting to build himself back up with that trash talk about Ian Garry. Yeah, just cringy. Not really fun and respected anymore. Finally, this is the last one. Anthony Smith. It upsets me how cringy he is. Because here's the thing. I think Anthony Smith is a really good guy. I think he's a really, down to earth. I think he's a family man, humble. Not humble. I like him. He has the absolute worst analytical takes in UFC history. But don't worry, though. Just because they're the worst takes, doesn't matter. Every GOAT has their moments. Because he's the analytical GOAT on paper. And on paper, he's the UFC GOAT. On paper, he destroys Alex Pereira. He beats John Jones. And on paper, he would sub Khabib in 30 seconds with a guillotine. But that's just on paper. You try to say he was better than John Jones. Um, he'll argue his arguments for why he's better than people is if you take away their jiu-jitsu, their wrestling, their striking, and their fight IQ, then they're just not better than him. No shit, Anthony. If someone doesn't have jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking, and fight IQ, they're not going to be good at fighting. You know, he's talking shit about Alex Pereira. He was like, he's not that dangerous. I don't think he's that dangerous. I think I could, I think I'm a really bad matchup for him. And then he got slept by Khalil Rountree, who is basically just like short, black, compact Alex Pereira. And worse. And Rountree slept him. But don't attack his family, dude. Don't attack his family because on paper he's gonna fuck you up. If you attack his family, don't let him show you what. Don't let him fight you on paper because he's gonna fuck you up. But yeah, that's about it. That was my list of the top 10 cringiest fighters in the UFC. I didn't put it in any particular order again. Again, all fun and jokes. That's about it. Peace.